You tell me that 20% of said women are ready to be wives. That means you agree with me.
Facts.
Okay, but also, I would say...
Does the math support my logic?
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you on that point, yes.
Okay.
But I also would caveat that with the fact that most men aren't ready to be husbands either.
Doesn't matter.
I've noticed that when it comes to virgins calling into your show, I feel like you don't give them fair treatment. You just label them all as socially awkward and just hiding behind their face.
That's not true. Ma'am, that is patently false. Hello.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. What's the disagreement?
Can I request not to be on YouTube, please?
Sure. What's the issue?
Thank you. I feel like some of the arguments that you make are unfair, mostly because you blame women a lot for the state of the dating market today, and I think that
give me an example of what you're talking about.
Saying that women today are not ready to be wives, I think is not fair.
Based upon what?
Based upon, I understand that there's a sector of women who aren't ready to be married, but I think that making that general statement is not fair toward women.
Oh, okay, first off, are generalizations fair?
No.
Bullshit. Bullshit. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Bullshit. Generalizations are fair.
Okay. I'll concede to that.
All right. So saying that women are not ready to be wives, based upon what?
Again, saying that they don't understand submission and being feminine and all of that.
What percentage of women would you say are ready to be wives?
I would say probably like 20%.
Ma'am, 20% out of 100% out of 100%. If 80% are not, that means you just made my freaking point.
Okay, but
no. Let's be.
In the famous words of Kevin, you can't make this up, guys. This is just, at this point, she comes on and says she's got an issue. He's got generalizations, so on and so forth. And I like that Kevin asked her, okay, well, what percentage of it, if that's the case? And she comes around and says 20%, baby, at least lie and say 99% of women are ready to be wives. So at least, there can be something right there. But you said 20, you're going to say generalizations. Man, we all have generalizations. We have generalizations about other races, about ethnicities. We have, and you can call it bigotry and, you being racist, being, prejudiced and things like that. And people have prejudices on certain things. But sometimes generalizations, whether you want to say fair or unfair, I mean, it's based upon some things a lot of times. And a lot of times these things are true. But the fact that, baby, you said 20%, come on, at least say 99% or something like that, man. But anyway, let's get back to it, baby. You just want to be, you'll concede. You just want to be argumentative on some BS, man. But anyway, let's go.
We move, let's acknowledge the math. The math ain't mathing. You said that you're making an unfair generalization. Then I asked you if you thought generalizations are fair. You said no. And then we had to go acknowledge the fact that it's bullshit. If the majority of something is true, it doesn't have to be 100%. 51% will do. That's the majority. The presidency is decided by that little of a margin. Okay? That's how the world works. And then I'm asking you, the person that says, I make the unfair generalization about a group of women. You tell me that 20% of said women are ready to be wives. That means you agree with me.
Facts.
Okay, but also, I would say...
Does the math support my logic?
Yeah, okay. I'll agree with you on that point, yes.
Okay.
But I also would caveat that with the fact that most men aren't ready to be husbands either.
Doesn't matter.
You said, hey, I would say Why do you ever be talking to you ever call a woman out on something, whether it's your girl or you just having a conversation, and you say something like, "Well, you're just not a good person, baby. You're not a good person, baby. You just don't know how to wash dishes. You don't know how to wash dishes, baby. You just aren't playing. You're not being fair. You're not being honest right now. You're not being honest." I would argue that most men aren't, good as well. I mean, come on, baby. Like that's the go-to with any woman. They'll just say that, man. Y'all ladies, please stop that. Argue with logic instead of just some BS like that.
Okay, and
Doesn't matter. Men have longer to wait. Men have longer lives. See, what you've just proven is you're arguing in bad faith. You don't like the facts. And then it's, I know you are, but what am I?
Right. Yeah.
So what? If men aren't ready, all men have to be ready for is what percentage of women? All 100% of men have to be ready for is what percent of women?
for the 20%.
Thank you. So,
Okay. Okay.
is it that I'm unfair?
Well, it's just the way that the arguments are framed, saying that
They're framed in logic. They're framed in statistics, data, facts, observable reality, things you can go see for yourself.
but you run under the assumption that all the men are out here looking
I don't
for
labor
wives.
under any assumption. I said that we don't have enough wives for men who want to be husbands. And you just said 20% of women. Don't tell me what I did when you tell me 2 out of 10 are ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I would argue that 2 out of 10 men are ready to be
I
husbands.
don't care. It doesn't matter. See, it's one of these things of,
And baby, that you didn't call about that. That's not. You see how you called about what he said about women. Now you flipping it to this stuff. We're not talking about that. We're talking about women. Y'all got to stop that, man.
well, women aren't ready, but the men aren't either. That's how they've learned how to argue.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, but is a woman at 25 and a man at 25, do they have the same market value?
No.
Oh, okay. Whose market value is higher?
For the dating market or marriage?
The sexual marketplace.
For the supermarket, baby. For the supermarket. That's what he's talking about. For the
A
supermarket.
21-year-old woman and a 21-year-old man. Who has the higher sexual marketplace value?
The woman.
25-year-old man and a 25-year-old woman. Who has a higher sexual marketplace value?
The woman again.
A 30-year-old woman and a 30-year-old man. Who has a higher sexual marketplace value?
The man.
The 35-year-old man and a 35-year-old woman. Who has a higher sexual marketplace value?
The man.
And as I keep going in 5-year increments, will women ever overtake a man's sexual marketplace value?
Not in the long term, no.
No. Will it grow at a steady rate, or will it get exponentially larger? Meaning a 50-year-old man and a 50-year-old woman, will they have the same difference between them as a 30-year-old man and a 30-year-old woman, or will it be greater?
It'd be greater.
Thank you. So by math, you've just said women have roughly a 10-year period before their value dips below men. So it doesn't matter if men aren't ready. Men have a fucking lifetime. Women got 10 years.
Okay, that's actually one of the points I agree with you. One of the few
But ma'am,
points.
that's at the basis of all my arguments.
But sorry,
my God.
I don't mean to change the subject, but
We're not going to change the subject.
sorry.
We can move. We can ask another question. But you gotta admit that there is nothing that you made in your initial statement that lines up with the facts of what I just said.
Yeah, I'll agree to that.
So, can you honestly say you listen to what I say in good faith?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, then if you did, ma'am, then you would have listened to those facts, those numbers. I don't just say stuff to be saying it.
Okay.
But just because...
And furthermore, here's the thing, man. Ladies, y'all dudes too, all y'all subs and viewers, why do y'all keep watching someone if y'all disagree? I understand she said I actually agree with you on that point, but why do y'all keep watching someone that y'all don't agree with? I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of you wait for the chance to actually get on the show and you say something and it's not well thought out. It's just like when I get the chance. And then when you actually sit back and you reflect on it, when you're actually saying it out loud instead of thinking it, you realize how crazy it sounds. Rehearse that shit in the mirror, man, and record yourself first.
I don't break every time I say something down in a 5-minute explanation of a quip.
Okay.
Next question.
I've noticed, because I've watched a lot of your content in the past couple of months, and I noticed, especially, I think it was last week, that a woman called in. She was a 45-year-old virgin, and I've noticed that when it comes to virgins calling into your show, I feel like you don't give them fair treatment. You just label them all as socially awkward and just hiding behind their face.
That's not true. Ma'am, that is patently false. And I have at least 3 shows I could pull up right now.
Okay, then I'll just go back to the woman that called last week, who was 45 years old, and, and a virgin. I felt like you weren't being fair to her, mostly because you felt like she was delusional, which I actually agree with you on that. However,
what did I say? I said she was socially awkward. When was the last time that woman had a date?
I think she said like 12 years or something.
Last time, I'm sorry, relationship.
A relationship? Oh, I know it was a long time.
No. So you're going to bring this person up, so I need you to be versed in what you're talking about. How long ago was it?
I'll be honest, I don't recall exactly.
Okay, so you're going to bring something to the table to discuss and accuse me of doing something, but you can't even have a firm enough recall. It was 20 years ago.
Okay. I knew it was
a 45-year-old woman who was a virgin, who had not had a relationship in 20 years. If that's not socially awkward, first of all, that doesn't put you in a socially awkward category. Then what about talking to a man that's 52 years old for 2 years?
Yeah, I'll admit that's abnormal.
No. But was the woman socially awkward?
I feel like you can't judge that.
I don't care. I don't want you to. I see that's the feel. You feel like when you listen to that woman speak, does that woman sound like she's socially normal, socially above, or socially below? When it comes to romance, relationships, and dating,
I feel like she is, and I understand it's my opinion. I feel like she's strong in her conviction. And
I don't care, ma'am. That's not the question I asked. Please.
I feel like she's strong in her conviction. Are you planning on being a nun? Are you a holy roller? Are you a fortune cookie quoter? Have you just sworn off men? 45 years. I haven't watched that show, so I can't really say. But I know there has been some virgins that have called in to Kevin's show, and they basically had a bad experience with a man, and they just kind of like swear off all men, and they're kind of like a recluse, just stick head down into the books or their job, and they never really have any interaction with men, but yet still you're going to watch Kevin's show, which I understand. You kind of like, well, maybe just like the women who contact me or who ask questions, wanting to know contemporary dating, what's going on out here. If you aren't in those fields like that, and you basically are trying to get back in them, you can't be like, well, you need to take it easy on me. You're saying that you felt like Kevin basically was talking to her in a certain way, and he shouldn't be speaking this way. There is some truth to this. When you're basically like, I don't know what to do. I'm in this situation. I may be in the church, or I don't know how to get back out there. So if you don't know how to get back out there, or you don't know where to go, there is there is a little discomfort and a little could be some awkwardness, or basically I don't know how to socially interact. Some women and dudes as well who haven't been don't even know how to socially interact with the other sex on an intimate level. So you say you can't judge, but there are signs of people. And I understand you can say being socially awkward is subjective. We get it. I can say me personally, I'm socially awkward in situations. I can say that, and I will say that about myself. But when you say that 20 something years and things are happening, come on, man. And you have a problem with that? Is it because you're a 32-year-old virgin? But you guys are watching these shows like thinking you have such a strong, I'm right and you're wrong. But I haven't been intimate or in a relationship in X amount of time. And those who have, you still feel like you have it figured out when you really don't.
Answer the question I asked.
Okay.
Was she socially normal? Was she socially above normal? Or was she socially below normal when it comes to the marketplace and dating? Abnormal? Awkward.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, you could use that term.
So you're going to tell me you feel she's what?
I feel like she's a person who stands strong in her convictions, and that's something that's ridiculed today by the world.
That's bullshit, because that's the same woman. I asked her, all right, ma'am, if you're a Christian like I am, are you in a church right now that facilitates single marriage? What was her answer?
She said not really.
No. So she's not.
But she's on the Kevin Samuel show. But anyway, let's continue. She's strong in her convictions, but she's on the Kevin Samuel show. But she's a holy roller, but she's not leveraging the church to get a man. But she's on the Kevin Samuel show. I know how he talks, but maybe I might be the one exception that he will just whisper sweet nothings and tell me everything I want to hear to keep me stagnant. Which is what a lot of you ladies want. You want to feel like a special guest and have him talk to you so sweetly, and like you have so much knowledge and experience, and he should talk to me sweetly just by virtue of me being a woman. But unfortunately, that doesn't work, and it's not going to work. You're gonna call Kevin Samuels before you leverage the church.
Not that strong in her convictions, because if ultimately God and her pastor and everything else we talked about, she would be in that one place. Mm-hmm. See, what you really are showing is you're talking through your feelings.
Mm-hmm.
I'll acknowledge that, but
all right, then,
can you acknowledge that you were...
No. Well, okay. So you said that I do things that don't line up with what I've done. And you haven't taken them. You've at best you've acknowledged it. How about the fact that you just don't like some of the ways I say things?
No, because like I said, there's some things that I agree with you on, and even in that conversation,
you brought up. How often do you talk to her? We're splitting hairs too. Mm-hmm. When you talk to a virgin, how many people are virgins these days? What percentage of the population? What do you think? What percentage of the
my cousins, most of them are.
What percentage of the dating population? I don't give a shit about your cousins.
Okay. Of the dating population, yes,
I would say that's all that matters.
Less than 10%.
Less than 10%. What state do you live in?
Massachusetts.
You think less than 10%? Less. Keep going. Give me an approximate number, plus or minus 2.
Okay, I would say, and we're talking about adults here, correct?
That's the only thing that can date, ma'am. I don't know.
Teenagers can date too. So, but
who is this woman, man? Who is this chick? Teenagers can date too. Bruh. I wish he would. I wish Kevin would have brought her on camera. And I want to know what your cousins look like too. Are you guys holy rollers as well? If so, why are you listening to this heathen?
Yeah, I would say.
What the fuck? Only we're talking about adults, man.
Well, teenager typically.
I don't talk to fucking teenagers.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I would say 8% of
8% of the dating population is a virgin.
would imagine.
Okay.
And I'm a Baptist, so most of the people that the circles I run in, they're mostly virgins.
And how old are you?
I'm 32.
And what city do you live in?
I'm like an hour away from Boston.
And you wanted to, and the dating population is above 18. You think that, so when you think of dating population, is that 18 to 34?
Yeah, that's my.
You think 8% of people between 18 to 34 are virgins?
Well, honestly, I was going based off of a study. I saw that about 35%.
That's a yes or no question before you tell me about the study.
Okay. All right. I guess I was being naive there. So I would say probably, okay, we'll say 1% then.
See, ma'am, I want you to understand. I have just deconstructed your entire argument based on numbers. You said that I was unfair to virgins. And the vast majority, hold on, the vast majority of people aren't virgins. To be a virgin in the dating market over a certain age makes you a little bit awkward by definition. As somebody who spent 2 freaking years coaching and speaking to incels, involuntarily celibate men, virgins and MGTOWs who actually have had training and study in how to actually approach this and to counsel and coach this, I'm not just some guy in a suit sitting up here making up stuff. As I've shown, as I deconstruct you, I know what I'm talking about. Maybe, just maybe, I know more than you do.
Yeah, and I would.
And that's why I say what I say. I didn't say it to hurt her feelings. There's a movie called The 40-Year-Old Virgin. Was that a drama? Was it nonfiction? Was it sci-fi? Or was it comedy?
It was comedy.
Because it's laughable in our society today.
Yeah, and I just...
All righty. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead and finish making your point, though.
Yeah, I just felt that it was rude, essentially, to ridicule someone.
You want him to be softer on the women than the men, and he's right. I can have dudes in the comments on my videos. They were like, "I'll never get a woman. I'm a virgin. I'll never get a woman. I'll never be with a woman. I'll never be." I've had dudes DM me on IG saying the same stuff, but there's an approach, as Kevin said. Whatever training he's been through, but you feel like he was rude because he said. You just have to you just have to take the white gloves off or whatever, and you just have to tell people the truth sometimes. Otherwise, they're gonna stay in this fairy tale mindset and either hate the opposite sex, hate themselves, or just be frustrated, just in general, instead of engaging them and putting them to action, making them, realize that, hey, this is gonna lead you to this. You were just a little rude. These people there is some validity to that. It's socially awkward is just something that we all have to work on, just like public speaking. I'm not the best. I can speak in public, but I stutter. I say the same thing all the time, and it's something I have to work on. Same thing with my social skills. I still have to work on that. And for somebody to tell me that, I could be like, "Oh, they were rude for saying that." I say, "But hey, they're speaking the truth."
For that, I understand
ridicule. No. Is the truth ridicule?
No.
Oh, hold on. Hold on, Liz. I got to back you down. What's ridicule?
Ridicule would be because you did call her socially awkward, and okay, if
Is
you're
that
going.
Ridicule?
Well, calling someone socially awkward, would you say that would be a compliment, though?
Is calling somebody obese ridicule?
No.
Calling somebody a diabetic, is that ridicule?
No.
Is calling somebody what they are ridicule?
Okay, but in Christian...
No, ma'am, no. This snowflake generation. A 45-year-old virgin who has delusions of how she's going to find a husband, who says she's strong in her convictions, but she's not even in a church to facilitate single Christian marriage. And you're defending that, and you're saying I ridiculed her by what?
Well,
calling her socially awkward. What should I have called her?
To be fair, most churches don't facilitate.
No, what should I have called her?
You honestly, and I know it sounds mean, you probably should have just called her out for being lazy.
I did that too.
Oh.
But both things can be true. She's lazy and socially awkward. But I want to go back to the beginning. You don't even like generalizations.
I would disagree with that, but okay.
You said you don't think generalizations are fair.
Well, I did walk that back though once you.
No, you walked it back after I challenged it.
Mm-hmm.
So, ma'am, due respect, it sounds to me like you sounds like to me you what I would consider to be one of these snowflakes. Mm-hmm. You're too sensitive. Ma'am, she's a 45-year-old virgin who still thinks because she hasn't had menopause, she can have children, and God's the final person to decide. And I'm a Christian.
I know that was delusional.
All right, ma'am. Ridicule. Is there a way to tell somebody the truth and not ridicule them?
Yes, for sure.
And how do you determine the difference?
Well,
how do you determine the difference?
The difference between ridicule and telling someone the truth is that the truth is often told in love and wanting to help someone.
You can't love somebody that you don't know. It's about intent. Don't put that on me. I don't have to love a stranger. It's about intent.
Okay. But I understand what she's going through because I had experience with that.
Of course you did, and that's why you're calling in. And you want, as he said, the whole snowflake complex. You want him to keep the white gloves on, massage your ego, talk to you gently and said it's not your fault. It's the world around you. It's the men who aren't ready to be husbands. I'm a perfect Baptist, perfect, chaste, pious woman. And these guys, but yet still you pious women are tuned into this gentleman right here. And you listen, but you have a problem with it, but you can't turn away. But you're trying to learn when all he talks about is heathens. I mean, not heathens, but all he talks about is you're the problem, but you're trying to challenge it, but you're like, I used to be who it is that you're talking about. It's crazy to me, man.
It's God's beat maker.
And I don't know. I will put a light in the sky for the G's that done turn memory from go. Blessings we send to the ghetto, you